Royal expert Tom Bauer confirms why he believes Meghan and Harry will end up in tears. Back in 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Hypocrisy, aka Meghan and Harry, moved to California. And boy, did they have some big plans after they stepped down from their positions as senior royals. But when we fast forward only 3 years later, it seems clear that things haven't exactly worked out the way Meghan and Harry were hoping. For starters, their lucrative deal with Spotify has come to a close, and now Harry has been left out of the relaunch of Travelist, a nonprofit ecotourism organization that he started back in 2019, although he is still listed on their website as its founder and patron. Reportedly, Meghan Markle has also been snubbed by fashion house Dior. Far from the celebrity lifestyle they envisioned and probably wanted, seems like Meghan and Harry are floundering and somewhat lost, and reportedly it's not having a very good effect on their marriage. And now, in an interview that he did with Woman, royal expert Tom Bauer reveals where he believes Meghan and Harry have gone wrong. He said, I'm sure there is stress and it will affect their relationship. They had the illusion that they could play the royal card. In the end, they had to play the anti royal card, and there's a limit to that. The novelty has worn off. It's hard for people to work with them. Tired Meghan with their Spotify deal imploding, Tom is worried that their dwindling lifestyle is going to start to grate on Meghan. The author has said her record is of tiring of men and people altogether, adding that Harry's lack of work could also cause a big problem. He said, I don't think he can sustain anything. I think she's far too calculated and hard headed to do anything that would damage her status and what she's set up. So it's looking like, at least when it comes to their careers, that Meghan and Harry are not on the same page. Recently, Meghan signed with a big Hollywood talent agency, WME, and Harry wasn't included in that deal. Tom says, I think she would like to have her own career, but the problem is, a career as what? Mr. Bauer goes on to say, when she was an actress, she did work very hard, but I think she's become deluded by her grandeur and struggles to understand any more that you need to be authentic. I feel she's lost that. He also said there was a sense of entitlement, and she wasn't like that before. She is very rude. She was thought to be rude to her friends in LA when she left, but the real rudeness was towards the staff in Kensington Palace, who she was reported to have treated with emotional cruelty and manipulation. Tom continues, saying they were said to have been reduced to tears by her sharp tongue, and that is something that Meghan's team denies, saying Meghan is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself. But anyway, it's not a nice picture from the man who broke the story that Meghan and Harry felt snubbed by the royal family at the Platinum Jubilee celebrations last year. According to Tom, Meghan arguably thought moving to the US would be a wise move financially. I think she was probably encouraged by her agents to think that she was going to get a fortune with her branding, he says. And he also says that didn't work out. And living in a $17 million 9-bedroom mansion in Montecito, Meghan and Harry for sure are going to have to worry about the financial impact of losing work. Now, supposedly, they've got a $9.5 million mortgage. According to Tom, money will likely become a huge problem for them. They've got enough at the moment, but Meghan is careful about finances. She will definitely be worried whether she's got enough for the future, and at the moment, it doesn't look good. He also said, whereas Harry has never had to think about money, Meghan's very conscious. Their costs are huge. And he's not really convinced that Meghan can turn things around. He said she had the chance with Spotify and that didn't work out well. And now, what is there left for her to do? There are no other documentaries with Netflix on offer. She's very limited. There are reports, of course, that Meghan and Harry bought the rights to the romantic novel Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, and they want to turn it into a film for Netflix, which could be lucrative. Although later reports were suggesting that in fact it was Netflix who paid the money for the rights and that Harry and Meghan's Archwell Productions is planning to produce it. Either way, it's a move that could turn out to be financially rewarding. Tom says it's a very clever move from them, although he adds, I'm not sure they can deliver. Netflix has reportedly put £2.3 million into it, which is peanuts. Well, Meghan and Harry's names are never far from the headlines. Most recently, there have been rumors that they're experiencing tension at home, although some images of the pair on a night out show them looking happy. And perhaps they went out to try to dispel these rumors, but Tom is hardly convinced that the couple really are happy, in spite of the united front they're putting on. including in a recent video shared on their Archwell Foundation website. Tom said, "If you look at them as normal people, you'd think, how on earth can they be happy? How could anybody be happy living in a self created goldfish bowl and without a great future? There's no obvious future." He also said Meghan thought she could be royalty in California and was surprised that she couldn't be when the late Queen was reported to have said, "No, you're either in or out. There are no part time royals." Then they were lucky enough to land these two amazing contracts with Netflix and Spotify, and even they are disappearing. They're facing a harsh reality. They seem to stagger from one crossroads to another. Well, with any luck, I think they're going to be forced to stay together if they expect to be able to pay for their expenses, because separation would not be a very good deal financially. Then they can just be miserable together and to each other and not hurt anybody else. They can be victims of their own making, just like they are now, really, but much, much worse. That is, after all, what they deserve. You know Megan's going to be wanting to give another one of her word salad speeches at the charity event, and I hope those charity organizers double check that those thieves didn't take anything. I think they are going to get a divorce after the end of the Netflix deal, meaning 2025. Until then, they're going to pretend like everything's okay, call each other my love, hold each other's hands, but we know it's all an act. In other news, of course, the royal family updated their website finally, and so they have removed the HRH styling for Meghan and Harry. Now, they still hold on to those titles, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but they cannot call themselves His or Her Royal Highness any longer. There has been, of course, a lot of debate about those titles, and people are calling for the titles to be removed, but at the moment, they're still holding on to them. Now, I'm talking about the Dukedom of Sussex, which means that Prince Harry is the Duke of Sussex, and so Meghan can adopt the courtesy title of the Duchess of Sussex. You might remember the time when Meghan and Harry decided to run away to the US to seek fame and fortune there. Well, they agreed they were not going to use the HRH styling anymore because they were no longer planning to represent the crown. And the royal family website has only just been updated to reflect this change. If I understand it correctly, they haven't lost their HRHs officially, but they've just agreed not to use them except in formal situations, like in a court of law, as Prince Harry did recently in London. To lose the titles altogether, well, that requires an act of parliament. Now, there is an act winding its way through the system right now. Google removals of titles bill for more info. We don't know if it's going to pass and if it's going to be entered into law, but if it does, that would give the king the power to remove those titles. And you, what do you think about this news? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share it with your friends and relatives who need it anytime you want. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.